sister.
Hey Gems, it's your girl Kedna here.
And your favorite sister, Stephanie.
Thank you for tuning in to Xclusive Gems podcast.
Yes.
Now, you guys made it. We made it. We're at series 3, right?
Yes.
And this time we're very excited for series 3 because literally this is something that my sister and I are very passionate about is tea.
Yes.
And we actually get to be holistic and healthy and drink our teas. Now,
while we talk to you guys.
Yeah. And now, if you listened to our series 3 introduction, my sister and I did explain to you guys that we actually make our own tea infusions. So this is actually perfect for this series. And not only that, guys, we wanted you guys to just get into this holistic journey with us and definitely promote something that's more beneficial for our health.
Yes.
So this actually feels good on a humanitarian level.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah. So my sister and I, for series 3, we scrolled through Instagram and we found some pretty interesting topics that were popular on certain pages. And we wanted to go ahead and discuss these topics. Some of them are trendy and some of them aren't. And we just wanted to give our input on them. And this one is actually really interesting. And we would love to have this tea and tea with you.
Yes. So you guys have about 15 seconds. You already know what time it is. 15 seconds to make your tea. I know it takes a lot longer to steep or whatever, but you should already know to put your tea steeping before you click on our video. So come on. You got 15 seconds to pour your tea into your glass jar, glass cup, whatever it is, and join us, okay? All right. So this topic that we found is actually a mother and a father of a son who have some type of disagreement about the son's haircut.
Basically, judging from this conversation, the parents aren't together. So basically almost like a baby mama, baby daddy type of dynamic. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, so I'm gonna be the mother, she's gonna be the father. So here we go. Hey, our son needs a haircut. I know you usually get him every other Tuesday, but this week you didn't get him.
Okay, I'll get it cut on next Tuesday.
Okay, did you get your haircut last week?
Yes, why?
Why didn't you take him with you? Also, he has school pictures this week. He won't be able to wait until the next Tuesday.
I didn't have money for both our haircuts this time. I did FaceTime him and make sure his hair wasn't wild before I went, or I would have took him instead.
Okay, is it okay if my husband takes him with him tomorrow when he goes?
No, I will take my son to get his hair. No, I will take my son to get his haircut unless he will take him to who always cuts his hair.
But you're saying wait until 2 Tuesdays from now, and he needed it cut this week for school pictures. And our son can just get my husband's barber to cut his hair since he's already going tomorrow, which all makes sense. He can still go with you in 2 weeks because he will need his haircut again by then.
I said no, unless he's taking him to who always cuts his hair.
Well, I'm telling him yes, because I have say-so too. I was asking you because I thought you forgot to take him. I even allowed you to see my point of view. You're just being selfish and inconsiderate of our son. Will you be able to get his haircut Thursday for his pictures Friday?
No, I don't have the money.
Woohoo!
He said, listen,
All
when people
caps.
write in caps, they're screaming
yelling at
and they
you.
angry.
That's
you know?
true.
So,
That's true.
yeah, like, my sister actually have children. So I know you may be able to, like, connect to it a little bit easier than I can. But even I think this is a ridiculous situation.
To be honest, like I'll start it off. To be honest, I think they're both pretty immature. They're both pretty inconsiderate. Both of them are going in with a closed mind. They're not being open to each other at all. I understand both points. Like she needs the son's haircut for school day, for picture day, which is understandable. If I don't have a son, I have 2 girls, but if my girl's hair needs to be done, and let's say their dad is who typically takes them to get their hair done, of course I'm going to ask okay, they have pictures coming up, and I don't want their hair looking all, you know, in any type of way, because as parents, you want your child to look just as presentable as you look, if not better, right? So of course I would ask their dad, hey, the hair got to be done by Tuesday. They have pictures, pictures the upcoming whenever, can you do it? The way the dad responded was extremely inconsiderate as well, because she even offered for her husband to take their son to get his haircut, but the dad was like, no, like I don't want him taking it, I'll take him. I feel like at first the dad was very egotistical. The son's dad was very egotistical because he didn't want the husband to take his son to get his haircut, which is ridiculous to me, because at the end of the day, like, even if you are not with the mother or not with the father of your child, you guys should still be able to co-parent, like, you know, well.
Yeah.
You guys are still friends. You guys should still love each other. You guys loved each other at one point, right? So you guys should still be friends and friendly with each other, and at least have an open mind when you're talking to each other about your child or children. So to be honest though, I have to say that there should have been a compromise. So I feel like the dad did come to a compromise when he said, fine, the husband can take the son to get his haircut, but he has to go to where he already gets his haircut.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's
like
a good point.
I feel like that would have been a compromise if the mom was like, okay, my husband will take him to where he usually typically gets his haircut because he does need a haircut. Exactly. I feel like that's where it would have came into like a mutual agreement. Like, he needs his haircut, that his dad can't take him because he doesn't have money, but he doesn't mind if the husband takes him if it's to where he already goes, which is understandable. You know, when you already go somewhere, like, the person already knows your hair, knows how to manage it.
It's different for guys.
Yeah.
Well, women too.
Yeah,
women
too.
Like,
I mean, we like to go to the same
person.
Yeah, so, you know, because they've already been taking care of our hair. They know how to style
They know how we are. They know how we are personally.
So, I completely understand. Like, I feel like in the beginning, they were very both close-minded, but towards the end, the son's father was like, okay, fine, like, he can take him, but he just has to go to where we go. And the mother was being very like, what's that word?
She wasn't budging?
She wasn't budging. She didn't want to compromise. She was just like, okay, well, my husband's taking him, and he's going to take him where he gets his haircut because he needs a haircut, and you should have, like, instead of doing that, compromise. Like, you can always come to a compromise.
Funny how you interpreted it like that, because honestly, I don't know why I was blaming the guy the whole time. And, well, the son's father the whole time. And the reason why is because I agree with you that they should have came to a compromisation, because they actually didn't. Yeah. And I feel like they were talking to each other in a very childish like manner, where it's just like, okay, like, we're the adults, what are we going to do? You know? And I feel like they were both being very stubborn.
They were.
But at the same time, I understand his point of view by saying he wanted the son to go where the son usually goes to, but he should have done his job and take his son to get his haircut at the appropriate time. But instead, he was being self-centered and selfish and got his own hair done instead. Now, don't get me wrong, as an adult, we always have to make sure we look good, but your son, in my opinion, your child comes first. You could have rocked it out a little bit. You could have wore a hat. You could have tried, you know, doing it yourself at home, whatever the case may be, because you're the adult. Your son comes first. And as a father, you should have known his picture day was coming. So I think that was kind of ridiculous on his end and very careless. And then on top of that, like, if you have somebody that is going to actually do it for you, then in my opinion, you shouldn't even be picky. How are you going to, like, I understand, like, how it works for men going to the same barber, but it's also not fair to the husband. One, he's already taking your son that you should have taken to get his haircut, but for him to go all the way maybe across town just to go to your barber. Like, yeah, that's her husband, but that technically was never his job, you know? So why would the woman make it, well, it's one thing if the husband agrees to do it, but why would she make it more difficult on the husband? But I would say, if she's the mother, why do you have to make your husband even go do it? I would have just took him to get his haircut. And because at the end of the day, like, if the father is not going to do it, and he obviously put himself first, and whether the husband agreed to take him to that barber or not, I would have just took the initiative. I would have took the initiative to just bring him myself, just because, to get a fair middle ground between two parties, because I wouldn't want my husband to go through the inconvenience of bringing my son all the way to a different barber, which he might not even want to go to. So that's not fair, making him do 2 stops, and then waiting on the baby father, who obviously is being very childish.
Okay, so there's 3 things that you said that I do want to touch on. The first thing is the son's father knowing when the son's picture day is. What I do want to say about that is, yes, he should know, but did the mother tell him? Because the mother didn't tell him, and the son didn't tell him, how would he know?
That's true.
There's no way for you to know. So.
But the way she was in the message, it seemed like she did. Like, she's
we can't assume.
We can only assume.
Well, we can only assume because we don't know the truth.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, when you say, oh well, you know, like, there's a lot of times when things are happening between mother and father. Even if they're in the same household, there are things that fathers do not know. I'm sorry, dads, but you guys are freaking clueless most of the time, and the moms are usually the ones running the show in the background and making sure everything is what it's supposed to be. So that's like, I wasn't even thinking that the dad even knew. In my head, like, the father doesn't know.
He probably didn't, but if he did, that's very crappy of him.
Yeah, if he did, that would be crappy, because how are you gonna get your haircut before you get your son's haircut? So that's basically like the first point that I wanted to make. Is typically the moms always know. So I don't know if the dad knew. If he did, yes, it would be crappy. But if he didn't, then it's really not his fault.
But I guess my question is, does picture year like come around the same time every year, every school year?
To be honest, I don't track it enough for me to be able to be like, picture day is going to be November 14th every year. Like, I really don't. And picture day happens more than once a year. Like, there's like group pictures and single pictures. It's like, it's too much. Yes, it's too much to keep track. So I don't know. Like, when it comes, like, they show me the little flyer, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is when picture day is, and I make sure that they're ready by that day.
Oh, they look presentable.
Yeah. So the second point that I wanted to make was, you said something along the lines of the husband not having, he shouldn't have to do that because it's not his son. On the contrary, before you get married, unless the woman hid her son from him, that's what she came with. Like, she came with the son. Like, that's just what he came with. So when he marries her, when he decided to marry her, he's also taken on that son as his son. Whether he legally adopts the son or not, now that is also his son. So when you're getting married to somebody who already has children, you shouldn't look at their kids as a burden. You should look at them as now part of your family. If you look at it as a burden, then you're gonna think like that. Like, oh, I shouldn't have to have my husband take our son somewhere. Like, no, that is now your husband's son as well. No, it's not blood, but he married you. He knew you came with this child. So now that is your significant other's child as well. And if you don't want to take on that responsibility, then maybe you should not get married to that person. Yeah,
but what I kind of like meant by that when I said that was more so like, why should he have to go through the hassle of possibly going to 2 different barbershops? Because if the husband's a grown man, I doubt he's gonna let another barber touch his own head that he doesn't even know. So to have to just take the son to one barber just to go to a different barber, that could be an inconvenience for him, because I know a lot of parents won't even do that. That's why the dad takes the son to the same barber, because not only is it convenient, but he trusts that barber.
But that's also why it brings me back to your third point when you said, well, I would have just taken it myself. Like, if you don't want to ask your husband, if your husband's like, nah, I'm not going to drive around town to go to his barber and then go to my barber, then just take him yourself. Like, that's where the compromising comes is okay, well, and I don't understand, like, can women not go to barbershops?
Well, the way she ended it was just like, because her husband doesn't mind taking him. He just... he's just not going to take him to his barber.
Well, she didn't say he's not going to. I think she just didn't want to ask him to take the son to that barber, because like you said, it wouldn't be like an inconvenience. But then that brings me back to, it's all about compromising at the end of the day. Like I said.
Somebody in that situation is going to have to do it.
Yeah, it has to get done.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you can't take him, I have to take him. You don't want, like, if my husband doesn't want to take him, then of course, then I'll just go take, like, something's gotta give. And to be honest, like, if I have to take him, if I'm gonna compromise, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll take him. You're gonna have to send me the money or something. Like,
that's how I feel. But
yeah,
he's saying he doesn't have any money, which brings me back to another point, because that was my main thing. That he kept his concerns. His main thing at the end of the conversation was, I have no money. Because did she ask him for money? Because why did he say that again? Oh, she said, can you take him Friday?
Before the picture day.
And he says he has no money. But that brings me back to several thoughts now. My first thought is, you should have took your son to get his haircut. Because I guarantee you that that person, he would not go around looking crazy. He would have found a way to make that money to get his haircut. So why are you putting your son last? I think that is so ridiculous that people put their children last. Like, yeah, you're a person, put yourself first, but you knew the responsibility you would have when you had a child.
Yes, I agree.
To me, that's not connecting, and that's why I feel like the son's father is very immature, because initially, the whole issue for me is, you put your son last and you put yourself first. It's a haircut. Like, yeah, you could think that it doesn't matter for your son, but why you couldn't just do that for him? I don't understand why you couldn't just do it for him first. And how much does a haircut really cost? Like, I'm sorry, I don't really know these things.
I don't know either.
How much does it really cost?
Yeah.
So that brings me back to my second point. Is just like, I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but that's another reason why I think women should really be careful who they have kids with.
Why would anybody disagree with that?
Yeah, you be careful, but really on a financial level, like, how could you not afford to get your son's haircut? Like, I know times are hard, but that's just ridiculous to me. And I'm not even judging his situation, because who knows his situation. But that just brings me back to saying, first, you did have the money, but you used it on yourself.
Yeah.
That was the first issue. Now you don't have any money at all to just get your son's haircut. So even if your son's mother would take him, but now she has to pay for it. So she's doing all of the work.
Where it should be a parenting. You guys should be co-parenting. So it should be, okay, well, you take him, I'll give you the money. Or you know what?
Yeah.
I'll take him. I don't have the money, whatever.
Can you give me the money? Exactly.
Yeah. Some way to alleviate each other, because at the end of the day, this is both of your child.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be only this person's responsibility to take care of the child, because at the end of the day, you guys both had that child. So whether it be you take the son to get the haircut, you come pick him up, I'll give you the money, you come grab him, go take him and bring him back. Or I'll take him, but if I'm taking him and you're not sending me any money, then I'm going to take him where I want to take him.
Exactly.
And that's what I feel like should have been said in the conversation. Like, okay, like, it shouldn't have been, well, my husband's taking him and he's gonna take him where.
Because I think the son's father got kind of like automatically put his guard up once she mentioned the husband. Yeah. If you can have a conversation with each other, then that's really what it's all about, is really having a conversation and really communicating. Like, you don't have to be so agitated when you're talking to the parent of your child. Like, I feel like a lot of people want to hate the parent of their child. Or they do. It's not even want. Or they do.
But I feel like they do because they want to. I don't feel like the hate is even necessary. Like, even if you broke up, or like if the relationship ended in a bad way, you don't have to hate the parent or to cope. Like, especially you can hate them as a person, but when it comes to co-parenting, don't let your child see that hate and don't let your child suffer. And at the end of the day, you're going to be co-parenting with that person until the child is an adult, until they are 18 years old. So can you imagine having to go through that year after year after year for 18 years? Like, I don't want to be that miserable. No, I'd rather just speak to you and come to a compromise. And if you can't do, like, if you don't agree with either, then at the end of the day, honestly, then that's your problem, because I'm trying to come up with solutions. Like I said, I feel like within the conversation, as the mother, I would have brought up my solution would have been, okay, well, choose one. Either you come grab him. I know it's not your week or whatever, but since you want him to go to your barber, you come get him. I will give you the money to get his hair cut. You come get him and then bring him back after. Or I go take him to get his haircut. You send me the money. if you want me to take him to our barber, if you don't have your barber, I'm sorry, but if you don't have the money, then I'm going to take him where I want to take him, because I'm using my gas,
my money.
So
it's going to have to be convenient for me.
So I'm going to do what's convenient for me if I'm the one putting in all the work. So those are the solutions that could have been brought up, but instead of like giving a hardcore, this is what's gonna happen answer, give him a choice, or him or her, give him a choice, like this or this.
Yeah. Because at that point, and I want to agree with you, because at that point when you're giving him a choice, you kind of release the burden on just you, you know? And I think a lot of women do that they just automatically operate in their masculine when a man doesn't want to step up. Sometimes we have to just be like, hey, decide, because some men can't make their decisions. Some men, honestly, he's being lazy because he's not trying at all. So I would have, if you're going to co-parent, you always have to make sure you're including that individual, because that's how they get off so easy. You know, like he's getting off easy. The fact that he put himself first and got his haircut, like, that's ridiculous. Like, I feel like that's very immature for him, and I really do feel sorry for the mother that's her son's father. But it just goes back to like choosing wisely. Yeah, I feel like a lot of women do say, I don't have kids, so I don't know. But a lot of women do say you really don't know somebody until you have kids with them.
That's just so true.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there were some warning signs. There are some red flags. There always are red flags.
It's so funny because I really wanted to make a video. And talk about how couples who don't have kids should get a dog first. Because the way that they... Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes.
Because the way that you guys take care of the dog, the way that you see them like care for the dog or whatever.
And together too. The way you do it together.
Yeah, it's the way that you're going to take care of problems and things, whatever that arises with a baby. I was literally thinking about this the other day.
That's really good that you mentioned that.
Because if you realize that you're the one doing all the work when it comes to the dog, you're the one always walking, always feeding, always bathing, and always like, hey, like, why aren't you doing, like, if you're constantly nagging your partner about helping you care for the dog, then that's how it's going to be when you have a kid together. You're going to be constantly nagging your partner to help you take care of the kid. So that's something I thought about the other day. So y'all out there,
try it.
Get a dog first.
And if you're not ready for a dog, then you're obviously not ready for a kid. And please use protection, because I think some of the worst things is having a child. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people are happy and they love their child, but just having a child and not really being ready, because eventually in the long run you're going to know, okay, well, maybe I could have waited a little bit longer and done things a little different. I just feel like you said, and I agree with you, I think they were both being very immature. Because I do feel like a solution should have came about that conversation. Something so simple as that, it's just like, why? So I felt a lot of animosity.
Yes, animosity. There was a lot of animosity there. Because I was going to say a solution did come from it. Like, she just took...
She made the decision. She made the decision.
But it was... I feel like it was filled with animosity. And I also feel like you said, like, so some women are so used to being in their masculine energy, and I feel like that's what she did. She was like, you know what, I'm going to take the lead here because you didn't do what you were supposed to do when you had him, so I'm going to make the choice and I'm going to take charge. So she started working her masculine energy instead of her feminine energy, and even if they're not together, you should always still work in your feminine energy. Just giving him those choices and allowing him to make that choice. At least both of you guys are happy, because at the end of the day, you're the one making the choices. You're the one giving him the choices to make. So, of course, make choices that you would agree with and would like to see being done. And then he will make a choice so that in the end, he won't be resentful towards you, and he won't have that animosity towards you, because at the end of the day, you guys shouldn't have animosity and resentment towards each other, because you guys have to raise this kid, these children for the rest of their life, past 18, because your kids need you past the age of 18. So even past 18, but if you guys hold that resentment and have that animosity attitude towards each other all the time, then your kids they're gonna pick up on that sometime down the line. You know, so just having that friendly, just even plain, this is how, you know, talk to each other with respect, and coming up with these choices that you guys can agree on, just little things like that. It can go a long way. You don't have to be with the person to be friends with them.
I really like how you said that. Just being able, well, it's a lot of things I want to kind of hop on with what you said. Just being able to create that balance between the two, I think, is very important.
Yeah.
But of course, both parties have to be willing. That's the first thing.
No, I agree.
So it also depends on the specific situation. But when you do that, you can just live a easier life because
harmonious.
Because you know, you guys can. And it boils down to maturity too. Like as adults, you guys should be able to come together and make a decision for your child. There should be no reason. And she did make the decision, but it's right here. But you got it? Yeah. But it should have been no reason why he couldn't play a part of that decision, you know? But the thing is, I also realized too, when throughout the message, he was just sticking firm to what he was saying. I don't have any money, take him here, you know? So I feel like that was very problematic for her, but I think it is very ridiculous how a lot of women do have to get into their masculine energy and be the leaders, be the decision makers, because rather their husbands or their baby fathers just will not take that initiative, you know? And that kind of brings me back to something else, that as women, sometimes we do have to operate in our masculine because the men around us are allowing us to, but we should also be able to step back and try to have them make their own decisions, because I feel like a lot of us do take control. We do take the lead, you know, true. And we don't allow men to actually make their own decisions. We don't allow them to take leadership positions. It's not our jobs, but today's men, it's like we kind of have to push them towards that, because if every time we're making the decision for them and we're making the decision for the household, where is he stepping in? Where is he using his decision-making skills? Now he's never going to know how to make decisions, because you always make it for him and the family. He expects you to be the head of the household.
That's true.
So I feel like also when he was speaking to her, it was kind of like a figure it out type of thing. He's probably used to her making the decisions like, okay, well, I don't have no money, figure it out.
I wouldn't say I agree with that. I wouldn't say that it was like a figure it out. He was basically just saying, okay, well, I'll take him this day, because he
never said I'll take him a certain day.
Yeah, he said next time I get him, I'll take him. But then she said that the son can't wait that long because he has picture day coming up. Yeah. So like I feel like it wasn't just, okay, well, here's the problem and I can't do it. They both realized the problem. Like she realized that his hair needs to get cut before picture day, and he says, okay, well, I'll take him this day or whatever. Oh, I don't have any money or whatever. And that's why I stress the importance of coming up with like different solutions and just being open-minded. I feel like when you're a closed-minded person, the only thing you're seeing is what is typed into that text message, what is being said. But when you're an open-minded person, you see different solutions to the problems. Like, okay, well, if we can't do this, then we do this. If we can't do this, then we'll do this. If we can't do this, then we'll do this. And I feel like that's also brings about creativity and you know, all of that good stuff. So just being open-minded to everything and not just being so set on, okay, well, this is what I want to do. But I would have to say, like, this is kind of like a hindsight, because I don't know how I would react in that specific situation. I would probably get like a little bit riled up, because I would be like the woman, like, why didn't you take him when you had him? Like, you should have taken him. So
that's why I feel like they were both conversating from a place of emotion. They were very emotional in that conversation, which led them to not be able to see eye to eye.
That's true. So that kind of leads me to say, like, when you are dealing with somebody that you are not with, especially if it's somebody that you have to speak to because you have a child with them, to not try to get your emotions get the best of you, because you have to do what's best for your kid and not what's best for you. Like, you have to, you're when it comes to you and that person, your child is your main focus. It's not just, okay, well, I'm going to do this and that's just what it is. You have to do what's best for the child. Okay, what is the problem at hand? The child needs a haircut. How can we get the child's haircut before picture day? We can do this, we can do this, or we can do this. And present those solutions, present those options, and let him or her pick one.
Yeah, but do you also think it's her job only to create the solutions?
It's not her job only. Either one of them could have done it, but I'm saying if I was in her position, I would have took the initiative to do it, because obviously, like, they weren't coming eye to eye.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like, who is it, my job, is it her job? It just has to get done.
Yeah.
So no, like, I feel like I know where you're going with it. Like, it shouldn't be her job to come up with solutions, but I don't feel like it's specifically anybody's job to come up with a solution, especially when you're trying to compromise and really try to figure it out. Like, you just want, I just want my peace of mind.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So whatever I can do to get my peace of mind and not hold any animosity or hate in my heart, that's what I'm gonna do. Like, if I were in her position and I responded that way, that I, like, just me reading it, I can tell this animosity coming from both parties. So I know, like, if I were her and that's the way I was responding, that's the mindset I was in, I would be responding and coming from a place of animosity as well. And ever since I've been on my journey, like, that's not really a place where I want to speak from or come from anymore.
Yeah.
So I would have just came up with those solutions and given him those options. Now, I will say, if my solutions aren't good enough, if I come up with 3 solutions and it's not good enough for him, then that's when I will go in and say, well, then you give me some solutions, because his hair needs to be cut before picture day. If you don't like any of my solutions, there's a problem. I gave you 3 solutions. If you don't like them, then you help me come up with a solution. And that's where you make him responsible. Like, okay, well, either you come up with solutions or you pick one of the solutions I have, because, like I said, at the end of the day, like, I'm all about peace. I'm all about peace of mind. Like, I just want to live a peaceful, loving life.
Yeah. Well, when I was reading it, to me, I felt like her last response being that, okay, well, my husband's going to just take him. I feel like that was the solution she created by herself, which, of course, like we said, I think both parents should have created the solution, because initially that's what co-parenting is. But that could have been just like her peace of mind, just her probably knowing the type of person he is and just being like, okay, well, this is what it's going to be. And honestly, I like how she also communicated that with him, because I know a lot of parents who wouldn't communicate that with him, or who would have probably cursed him out, call him a deadbeat, whatever the case may be. I think they have a good amount of respect for each other, but I can see from the messages there's been obvious tension there before. So they've had problems before, and that could have just been her already knowing how to maneuver through situations like that with him. Because I feel like when someone's dating, when someone have kids with somebody, a father of a son, mother, they already know how each other are, you know? So like I said, we could just assume the situation and where they're both coming from. If I had to choose if there was a right and wrong, I wouldn't say there isn't necessarily a right and wrong. What I would just say is that I don't like the fact that the father chose to put his son last. I personally am one of those people who feel like your kids come first. Yeah, there's some times where you're going to want to put yourself first, but it's all about balance, you know? And I feel like when you're a parent, balance is going to be your best friend, and that's everybody in life. Balance is always going to be your best friend. So that's the first thing. So my opinion isn't going to change about him. Yeah, I don't really know him personally, but his message screamed out very childish to me. And if there was any animosity, I feel like it was more on his end, because I can tell he started ramping up once the woman brought up her husband, which I know that happens a lot in dynamics like that.
That's true.
To be real, it does. And with the woman, the only thing I would accuse her of is not allowing him to be a man and do what he needs to do. Because I feel like a lot of women, we automatically take charge and take control, but that's how we don't hold men accountable. If you have a child with a man, he needs to be accountable. He needs to step up and do what he needs to do for that child. Yeah, you can't really force somebody, and you can't teach somebody how to be a good parent, but I mean, it all boils down to choosing your partner correctly. That's all I really can say too.
That's true. I mean, I agree with some of the things that you were saying. What, especially when you said like you can't really choose a right and wrong, because at the end of the day, like that whole conversation, I wouldn't even say like there's a right.
Yeah, because they weren't cursing each other
out. They weren't being disrespectful or anything like that. If they were being disrespectful, then whoever was whatever would. But I wouldn't say there's a right and wrong either. But I do feel like the conversation could have been could have gone better. And I feel like
where do you think it went wrong?
I definitely agree. It started going wrong when she brought up the husband into the message, which I mean, she can do that. That's her husband. That's her. Yeah.
And if that's the truth, that's the truth.
Exactly. So I feel like that's when he started going a little bit like he started getting a little ramped up. I agree.
Yeah, you could tell.
But then I feel like I said, that he calmed down and he said, okay, your husband can take him, but it just has to be at the barber that he originally goes to. Now I don't know, like me, Kedna, and I said, like I don't know if there's like a thing where you have to go to the same barber when you get a haircut, because I mean personally I like to go to the same hairstylist every time I get my locks retightened.
Honestly, the thing is though too, what type of first world problem is that? Where we're like, you have to go to the same barber.
It is a first world problem.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah.
I just wanted to, because when you said that, I was like, wow, that sounds so silly.
It is.
Like, what?
It is.
Sorry to interrupt. But,
women do it too.
But I'm just saying it's first world problems. Because I do it
problem.
too. I like going to the same hairstyles, but I'm like, the fact that he even said that, like, I respect that's what he wants, but I don't think it should have been like that big of a deal. At the end of the day, the problem was the son needed a haircut. The solution is he needs a haircut. So wherever he goes, he needs a haircut. He needs a haircut by the specific date for his school pictures. So I guess whatever the solution would have been is pretty much a solution.
It just needs, his hair needs to get cut. That's it. Yeah. But that's why I said to bring up those solutions, because then at least he wouldn't be able to say like you gave him no choice and you just made the decision.
And take it out.
And take it out. Yeah. So whereas where you give him the 3 choices that I said, where either you come get him or you send me the money, I'll take him. Or if I have to do both, if I have to pay and I have to take him, then I can just take him where I want. So that way, if he doesn't want to come get him and he can't give you the money, then that's when you get to.
So you don't be the bad guy. Exactly. That's the effective way to do
sometimes you have to be the bad guy, and I understand that. But I'm just saying, like when it comes to parenting, you can get what you want still, like, you know, by just giving those options. That way he can't be like, no, I don't want any of those things or whatever. True. If he can't give you the money and he can't come get his son, then you get to take him where you want to go. And that's why I said to give him those three options could have been a way that you could have maneuvered around the whole thing, instead of just being so dead set on, well, my husband's taking him he's going to take him where he goes.
I get it. I feel like that's a better form of communication, giving people the choice, because initially when people have choice, they feel better as individuals. And when you give people choices, they feel like, even if they really didn't, but they feel like, they're taking charge. So that would have been a nice way to make him feel like, okay, still involved with the situation without him feeling like, almost like, okay, well, you're over there, my husband and I will take care of it. Exactly. So I could see where, to him as a man, where that could be detrimental to his ego. It'll be hurtful.
It'll be hurtful. That's why I said give those choices. Like,
if that's his son too.
Yeah, that's his son.
So he should have every right. Yeah,
exactly.
I see your. Yeah. I see where you're going now. Okay,
exactly. I agree. Because I know if it was me and the shoes were flipped, and let's say my child's father is like, oh, well, this is what I'm gonna do since you can't do this, and I'm like, damn, that's my child too. I should be able to make decisions for my child, you know. So
I like that you said that. That's true. Like, she should respect his wishes, although, like I said, it's first world problem. She should still respect his wishes, because that's his child as well. And if he's the one that's in charge of that, then it should definitely be, he should have some input in that. Yeah, I agree. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's good. Definitely.
All right, I guess we're ending it here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us your point of view. Tell us how you feel, how you would handle the situation.
Yeah, definitely give us your feedback, guys. If you go into the description box down below, you can go ahead and click that link to our herbal shop, Mystic Mojo, on Etsy.com. Please like, comment, subscribe, which I think I did say that, but please like, comment, subscribe. I cannot push that enough. That's what helps us and keep us motivated,
keep us going.
Yeah. And let us know what herbal tea infusion that you're drinking. Yeah.
And we'll let you guys know every time what we're drinking.
Yeah, we did. I'm not sure if you guys realized, but we did like switch it
in the middle.
Yeah, so we were drinking cinnamon and ginger at 1st, and then now we're drinking this tea infusion for the lymphatic system. We do not have it available on our shop, but we will have that available sometimes, maybe in a few months. So just keep an eye out, guys, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Love you guys.
Bye.